is my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary. It's all about that warfare, boy. It's all about that warfare, boy. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground. Now this ain't no movement, this a takedown. We would not be moved or intimidated. We ain't the type. You got a problem, tell them cross the fucking line. My niggas ain't polite. Soldiers to the left and right. I die for every man body. Before I be a coward, I'd rather be a dead body. This will be my kingdom when the hour pays. You can either get with it or get flipped like an hourglass. We live by honor and no excuse. Just send the prayer up to the Lord. I told him to let all the terrorists loose. Hold your tongue or get rebuked, cause you made a truce. With a race that made bunch of things out of my abuse. Scared of who? You got your gun, then pull it. Me and my niggas start to argue. It's about who gon' bite the bullet. It gon' take round. Opponents better move slow. Attack dog for this truth. Nigga, cool zone. It's all about that warfare, boy. It's all about that warfare, boy. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Oh, thought you could cross us with no consequence, but you will pay dividends. You should've used your common sense. My zeal lit.
Shalom Yahweh Bashem Yahshua Brakatan to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Latam Bashem Yahshua to the sisters. This is Priest and Officer Aharon coming out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We are the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. We teach that blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the true biblical Jews of the Bible, and that the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. Today, the title of the show is Fear the Lord, because our people have zero fear of the Most High. And I can prove that by saying, look at our actions. You know, we do everything that we're not supposed to do and think that we're supposed to get favor from the Most High. And that's why we're in the condition that we're in. Obviously, I'm going to do some scriptures today and prove to you that if you follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, you know, you'll have a way better life. You'll have a great life than if you follow Satan and the white man, and you'll see what kind of ending you'll have. So a lot of times it's a very short life you live, or it's hell. So I'm going to start out with Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 15. No, Salaka, we're going to start at 14. Woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? You can't lose patience with the Most High. First of all, you got to know who you're praying to, who your God is. You can't, be worried about all these heathens gods. You know, these are just fake God, made up gods. You have to come back to the Most High God, Yahweh, and follow his law, statutes, and commandments. Says here, you can't be impatient when you follow the Most High, or because the Most High, he will visit you, and that's what you don't want. You know what I mean? Let's go down to 15. He has visited a lot of us, and a lot of our loved ones aren't here anymore because they lost patience with the Most High. And it's verse 15, that they that fear the Lord will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his ways. When you fear the Most High, you ain't going to disobey him. You kind of scared. You're scared to just like if you got a father who don't play no games, you're going to do exactly what he tell you to do. You might not want to do it, but you know what's best for you because he's going to come out with that belt. You don't want the Mosiah to come out with that belt on you. Slack. I'll read that again. Verse 15. They that fear the Lord will not disobey his word. What's his word? His law, statutes, and commandments. You ain't going to disobey that. And they that love him will keep his ways. How do you love the Most High? By following his law, statutes, and commandments. That's how you love him. We're going to go down to, let's see, did we go to 16? Let's go to 16. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well, pleasing unto him. And they that love him shall be filled with his law. So you love him, you'll have the law, in your mind, and you won't sway from it. You know what I mean? That's how you'll live. And that's how you should live. And that's how we're all going to live one day. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight. Okay. Now we're going to go to, I'm going to just give you a couple of examples of, I'm going to give you one example of who feared the Most High. And these sisters here were great because they saved a lot of the babies because Pharaoh was trying to kill all the young men that was born. He wanted to save the women, the girl babies, and the male babies he wanted to kill. But we got some good sisters in our nation, man, because they saved us. Because why? They feared the Lord. So I'm gonna go to, let's see, where's that at? Salakia. That's Exodus. I think it's Exodus 8, Exodus 1 and 8. Salakia. Exodus 1 and 8. We'll start at verse. We'll start at verse 5. We'll just read from verse 5. Salakia. It says, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 5. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Jacob was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren and all that generations. Salakia. And all his generations. And verse 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. That's what happens. We get somewhere, we go into the land, we make babies. Especially oppression will have you, you'll be eating good and you'll be making babies. That's what we do. One thing about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we don't have problems multiplying, like our oppressors do. And this is verse 8. And there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. Verse 9. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we are. They fear that. They fear that we can get more mightier. There's more of us, so we can get more mighty. So what they do, they put little things in place like abortion, drugs, and things of that nature, so we could not multiply as much. Because I tell you what, if there wasn't any abortion clinics in this place, there would be more of us than anybody. But they got to put that little things like that in place. So through the oppression, it'll make a sister sometimes, which she's wrong for doing that, but it'll give her an option. She shouldn't have an option. That's wicked as hell for a sister to even have an option to get rid of a baby. You know what I mean? That's murder. Salakia. So I'm going to go to verse 10. It says, come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. And so get them up out of the land. That's what they worry about now. You know what I mean? They don't want us to go up against them with an enemy. That's why they gotta keep us off balance all the time. You know what I mean? But this is how they think of us. Like, they know deep down inside, there's a lot of Toms out here, but the average nigga know like who is oppressing him. And if he ever get a chance to get above his oppressor, we're going to do it. Anybody would. But they're paranoid right here. This is very paranoid, and America's paranoid. You know what I mean? Verse 11. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them. The more they multiply and grew, and they Slock it. Here you go. Afflict them. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. Verse 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. Slakia. Verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. Slakia. I'm going to skip down to verse 16. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon their stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then he shall live. So that's right there is where the wicked ass king wanted to kill our babies if they were males. If they were female babies, he wanted to let them live. Why? Because the male carries seed. He lets the female live because she doesn't carry seed. So he wants to eliminate us. He wants to. That's crazy. That's crazy right there. Verse 17. What did I say about the fear of God? But the midwives feared God. So they said, no, we ain't doing this. This is some good sisters right here. They saved us and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men, children alive. So they went against the king. You got to be a hell of a woman, or yeah, I'm just gonna keep it on the script. You got to be a hell of a woman to fear God that much, where you got a king sitting over you, and you tell that king, I'm not doing that, knowing that your life is on the line, but you serving the Most High instead of the king. You know what I mean? That you don't see that nowadays. Most people only believe what they can see. If they can, they half the time they don't believe that. But for these women to save these babies, these are some hell of a women right here. Salakia. Verse 18. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have you done this thing and have saved the men children alive? And verse 19, and the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. So they knew there was a difference, just like now there's a difference. They knew they wasn't Egyptian. They knew they was Israelites. So they knew they couldn't do that because they would be responsible for. And see, the Most High, nothing happened to them. Most High made sure they was okay. So it wasn't like because they did what they were supposed to do, they didn't get slaughtered for that. So, Salaki, I'm going to give you a couple more verses. We're going to go to, let's skip down to Deuteronomy. That's just one example of when you fear the Most High, what great things can happen to you when you fear him and don't fear man. So let's go to Deuteronomy 6:2. It says, that thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's sons, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. So if you fear the Most High, here, what this is saying is you're gonna have a long life. You know, most of us don't fear God, though. We say we do. That's just, just talk. Slocking. Most people in your life, they don't fear God. They don't fear nothing. They fear the white man. They do fear him because to them, that's their God. But we know we have a God that's eventually going to wipe all these heathen, put all these heathens back in their place because we're the ones who's supposed to be sitting on high and we're supposed to be running this world, not a heathen. So we're going to skip down. Let's go to 6 and 13. Just more examples of what you should do, why you should fear the Most High, and what happens when you don't and when you do. When you don't. Verse 13, thou shalt fear the Lord thy God and serve him, and shall swear by his name. 14, ye shall not go after other gods of the people which are round about you. That's cut dry. Don't go and start worshiping Islam, Buddha, all these other gods. We're in every religion. Get out of there. You know what I mean? Start reading this Bible. Get into these classes because it just says right here, verse 13, 14, ye shall not go after other gods. Don't go after other gods. Why are you doing that? Why would you go to the Arabs' God? I don't get that. Let him have his God. Slakia, verse 14, ye shall not go after other gods of the people which are round about you. Verse 15, for the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against thee and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. That's what's happening to us now. We're getting destroyed because he's jealous. You know what I mean? You got a father and you over on somebody else's, dealing with somebody else's father. Listen to their father who's giving you bad instructions. It doesn't work. Their father don't work for you. We got our own father. You know what I mean? I don't understand why you just stick to our own God. We have a God, a real God, not a fake. Verse 16, ye shall not tempt the Lord thy God as ye tempted him in Massah. Don't tempt him. Don't test him. You know what I mean? Verse 17, you shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God and his testimonies and his statutes, which he have commanded thee. Diligently, that just means to be, energetic, be steady with it. Don't be lazy. Don't be a sluggard. Don't be lazy in the truth. You got to diligently keep the commandments of the Lord. This all through this book is telling you to fear him, keep the commandments. I don't know where these Christians is getting this, where you ain't got to keep no commandments, or you only got to do a couple, and then you can break them whenever you feel like it. And then you can just say sorry, and then in your whole life you just want to be a sinner. That's all. That's all it is. Salaka. Let's go to 20. Skip down to 24. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day. So here's again, it says, fear the Lord our God. Let's go to 10. Let's go to Deuteronomy 10 and 20. Just showing you that you're supposed to fear the Most High. Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God. Him shall thou serve, and to him shall thou cleave, and swear by his name. Supposed to cleave on to the Most High. You know what I mean? You got to fear him. Let's go to 28 and 58. Salakia. 28:50, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 58. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words, not some, all the words of his law that are written in this book, and thou mayest fear his glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God. You're supposed to fear his glorious and fearful name. I mean, when you fear somebody, you listen to them. You do what the hell they tell you to do. You don't cut corners when you feel like it, or Halloween's coming up, so you might say, well, I'm gonna hand out some candy. I'm gonna put a costume on. Ain't nobody gonna know. The Most High gonna know. Or Thanksgiving. You just gotta have Thanksgiving meal. You can't wait 2 weeks later or 2 weeks before or anytime. You ain't got to have it nowhere near Thanksgiving. You can. It's not unlawful to eat turkey, but on that day it is. You sitting around the table with a bunch of sinners, and they celebrating the torture and destruction of our brothers. The tribe of Gad. You don't do that. That's a sin to the Most High. So let's skip. Let's go to a different chapter. Let's go to Judges. Slakia. Go to Judges. We'll go to 6 and 9. Verse 6. Chapter 6, verse 9. And I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all that oppressed you, and drave them out from before you, and gave them their land. Verse 10. And I said unto you, I am the Lord your God. Fear not the gods of the Ammonites, of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell, but ye have not obeyed my voice. So that's one of the parts where it says don't fear the other gods that are around you, because those are all fake gods. You know what I mean? You're supposed to just stay on course with the Most High God and follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Let's go to Leviticus 25 and 17. Slakia. Leviticus 25 and 17. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 17. Ye shall not therefore oppress one another, but thou shalt fear thy God, for I am the Lord your God. There's another one. Don't oppress each other. We do that a lot. We get a little status, we get a little money, and you'll oppress your brother. You know what I mean? You'll be jumping, beat him up, or make him scared of you. You might shoot up the block, snatch a lady's purse, do all kinds of things that have your brother scared of you. You act crazy, and you can't do that. It says here, don't oppress your brother. Don't oppress one another. You know what I mean? Let's go to Psalms 22 and 23. Psalms 22 and 23. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 22, verse 23. Ye that fear the Lord, praise him, and ye the seed of Jacob, glorify him, and fear him, all ye the seed of Israel. So, you praise the Most High by following his laws, statutes, and commandments, and that shows you fear the Lord. If you follow those commandments, those laws, statutes, and commandments. Let's go to 25 and 14. I like this. This is one of my favorites right here. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 25, verse 14. The secret of the Lord is with them that fear him, and he will shew them his covenant. You know what I mean? So if you fear him, even when I wasn't even in the truth, I still was scared. I was still scared of Most High. There were some things I just said, nah, I'm not doing that. Not because I was scared of jail or nothing. I was scared that something might happen and Most High would come down on me. So I had boundaries even when I was wicked as hell. I had boundaries, but it says here, the secret of the Lord is with them that fear him. So if you fear him, he's going to show you how to live. But it's amazing that there's so many people in this world who's a Christian who, I mean, it's amazing. They, soon as they come out of church, hell, before church, at church, they are sinning. Soon as they step out the door, I see them like cigarettes. I mean, 1 foot out the door, the cigarette's lit. I see them like the cigarette in the church when it's windy outside. They'll like the cigarette in the church and walk out because it's too much wind. You couldn't, I mean, what is wrong with y'all? And you say something to another Christian about it, and they take up for the Christian news. So then everybody's against you if you just question it. I said, man, this is crazy here. You can't even question the wickedness of a Christian. Sometimes you question it, and somebody will take up for that, the wickedness. Oh, man, that's heavy, man. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus is like my favorite. There's so much knowledge in this book here, Ecclesiasticus. We're gonna do some scriptures from Ecclesiasticus. We'll start at 1 and 18. 1 and 18. The fear of the Lord is a crown of wisdom, making peace and perfect health to flourish, both which are the gifts of God, and it enlargeth their rejoicing that love him. You know what I mean? So you got a crown of wisdom. These brothers in the UPK got a crown of wisdom. And sometimes I just, you kind of want to just be around them. You do want to be around them. So some of that wisdom rub off on you. You know what I mean? So that's verse 18. Let's go to let's skip down to 20. The root of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. So you can't even get no wisdom if you don't fear the Most High. And the branches thereof are long life. So the root of wisdom, that's the beginning of the wisdom. That's where it starts, in the root. You know what I mean? So verse 21, the fear of the Lord. These are all scriptures about fearing the Lord. What you can get from fearing the Lord. What can happen to you, what good could happen to you, what bad could happen to you from fearing the Lord. The fear of the Lord driveth away sins, and where it is present, it turneth away wrath. Hey, I'm definitely part of that. Like, I used to be a sinful bastard, slacky, excuse my language, but I fear the Most High. I don't sin. I mean, they think it's impossible. You know what I mean? But you don't have to sin. I live a totally different life than I used to live. People look at me, people in the world look at me like some of my views and some of the things I say. They like, some people say, but other people say, man, that's you crazy. Hey, I fear the Most High. That's and our brothers in the ISBK, we all fear the Most High under Commander General Yohana. It's a beautiful thing to fear the Most High, because if I didn't fear him, I'd probably be dead by now. Who knows? I'd be doing all. I mean, I'm pushing 50. Ain't no telling what would have happened to me by now. The Most High saved my life because he put in me to fear him, and I did. I do fear him because I know that a wicked person can get away with all kinds of stuff. If I try that same thing, judgment will come down on me so fast. And the wicked person just runs rampant. He does what the hell he wants to do. Eventually, he will get his punishment. Don't get it twisted. The Most High he ain't no punk. He ain't gonna just let you get away. But I know better. So if I do something, it's like, yeah, I get judgment fast on me. I'm supposed to, because I know better. All right, let's go to Ecclesiasticus 26 and 23. You know what? Let's try 19 and 24 first. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 19, verse 24. He that hath small understanding and feareth God is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. That's just goes back to what I just said. Even though I might have small understanding, but I fear the Most High, I'm better off than somebody, I'm better off than somebody who transgresses the law, with much wisdom. You know what I mean? You don't want somebody, you got all that wisdom and then you still doing wicked stuff, you in trouble. You know what I mean? It's like, man, what would I give you any wisdom for if you was going to go do that with it? You know what I mean? Salakia. And let's see, let's skip down to 28 and 29. And if for want of power he be hindered from sinning, yet when he findeth opportunity, he will do evil. That's heavy. 29. A man may be known by his look, and one that have understanding by his countenance when thou meetest him. So the way you carry yourself, you'll know if a man is a man of God, basically, by just by the look on his face, the way he walk, the way he talk, you know what I mean? His understanding, you'll see how his understanding is. All right, let's see, Salakia. Let's go skip to chapter 26 of Ecclesiasticus. This is like my favorite book. 26 and 3. You know what? Let's start at 1, and I'll read down. 26 and 3. But this is actually one of my favorites too. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus 26 and 1. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. That's heavy. If you got a rib that's virtuous, you're gonna live a long life. You ain't gonna never want the day to end. It's gonna be like, man, you be happy to come home. You know what I mean? You be happy that anything you do with your family, you ain't happy. You don't come home and sit in the driveway for an hour, dreading to go into the house because you got a damn dragon in there, a pterodactyl waiting on you. That's going to swoop down on you every chance you get. Verse 2, a virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the. So you can't even get a good wife if you don't fear the Most High. You can't get a good wife. You won't get one. You won't get a good rib. You be sitting there talking about, I need a rib. You ain't gonna get one. You got to, first of all, you got to serve, and you got to serve the Most High. You got to give up shrimp and pork. That's sad. Salakia. And we'll let's go to 23. Let's skip down to 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. So if you got a wicked woman, you must have been a wicked man. That's what happens. That's what you get. Who you think you're going to get if you wicked as hell? You know what I'm saying? You going to get a sister in the UPK? Hell no. You ain't getting no sister like that. You're going to get the scraps. You're going to get an alley cat. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get something to drag you dragged out from the alley. You know what I mean? But a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. See how that works? You fear the Lord, you get a good woman. You get a good rib. You get a godly woman. Not just any woman, a godly woman. Slakia. Let's see what else. What else do we have here? Yeah, I think that'll be it. But the bottom line is, you got to fear the Most High in order to get change your life and to get what you need out of this life. Fearing the Lord is the beginning. Salaki is, I'm paraphrasing, beginning of knowledge and beginning of wisdom. So if you don't fear the Most High, you ain't gonna get no wisdom. You're gonna get some jailhouse wisdom. You're gonna be a Muslim, or you're gonna be celebrating whatever it is the Muslims celebrate. You can't do that. Follow the Most High, follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Fear the Most High, and you're gonna have a way better. You're gonna have a good life ahead of you. and your life will change. One day you'll look yourself in the mirror and say, damn, I'm a totally different man. And, and if you want to, get in this UPK, and learn how to follow the Most High. With that, I'm done. Shalom to the brothers. Shalom to the sisters. I'm out.